Welcome, folks. I'm super glad that y'all are here. This is a pretty late night stream for me, and we're going to be setting up my Mac for development and work. And it's going to be pretty great. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes here. So just give me a couple seconds to make sure we're all working here, and we will get this done. I just have to make sure my chat's working. I am using the Chrome extension. I'm not using my other default program that I normally do because we are still setting things up. So bear that in mind if the chat response is a little bit slow tonight. I really apologize for that, but we are just trying to get set up. And I just want to kind of go through the process of what I do in order to get my Mac set up for my development as well as my employment. So it's going to be pretty great. Let me just make sure my chat's working effectively. Then we will get started. Okay. Wow, it says we've got 3 people watching. Hello, folks. Wow. If you're here, say hi. Make sure my chat's working. Let me just make sure my extension is activated that I'm using for TTS. Fierce Abuela, I apologize if I butcher your name, says hello, welcome. Again, if I butcher it, I really apologize, but welcome to the stream, folks. And just give me a couple seconds to make sure that we're on going here, making sure my chat's working. I'm not hearing them being read out. If you're new to the channel, I'm almost completely blind. And so I use a chat reading TTS extension that will read out everything that's being spoken in the chat. That way I don't miss my chat. So if you're here, go ahead and say hi. And let me make sure my extensions are working properly because I don't think it is. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to Techopolis. Always love to have people subscribed. Okay, what is up with my chat here? But if you are watching, like I said, say hi, and we will get started momentarily. All right. Let's see. Let me get... That's why it's not working, because it's in... I need to get in Chrome. Alright. Just a second, folks. We are resetting up my Mac, so... it's kind of a process. I wanted to do this because it's a little bit slow right now, my Mac is, and I need a new beginning. I had my Mac set up where I wanted it when I was self-employed, but I didn't really have it optimized in terms of what I do now. So I do a lot of different things now, and so I need my Mac to perform different functions. And we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk about why I decided to reset my Mac. But just give me a second to make sure that my chat's working. And then we will... I had everything working, and then it decided it was gonna quit, so. All right. Something else I like to do is always make sure that my stuff is set up as a list instead of icons, because it makes it a lot easier. All right. We just create a new tab here. And okay. So Let's see. Anyone here? Say hi if you are. Make sure our chat's working effectively. I use this YouTube Live TTS extension. And it works pretty well, sort of. So it's good enough for now. Let's see. Anyone here? Say hi. Alright, now that I know that maybe someone's here, I can go ahead and get ourselves started. Alright. Okay, so I think that we may be working. So I'll have to check from time to time. I'm having some issues, but we got a lot to do, so I don't have time to just mosey around. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. That way y'all can see what I'm doing. And what I like to do, especially because I am a VoiceOver user, is I'm going to configure some VoiceOver preferences. So if you're not familiar with what VoiceOver is, it is the built-in screen reader on the Mac, and it provides accessibility to those who may not be able to see the computer screen. So if you're not sure about accessibility and VoiceOver and all that stuff, that is kind of a general idea of what that is, and I can be sharing the screen, and I'll share my sound so that y'all can hear what VoiceOver is if you've never heard it before. Do note, however, that when I do that, the chats will be read aloud, so just keep that in mind, that your chat will be read aloud on stream. So during the VoiceOver demo, that is how that is going to work. Without further ado, let me go ahead and get ourselves started. But before I do that, I just want to say welcome everyone to this late night stream with Tay. We're getting my Mac set up. I decided that I needed to reset my Mac. It's time for some early spring cleaning around here. And I needed to reset my Mac to do what I need it to do now. Meaning I needed to do different things than I had it do when I first got my Mac, which is when I was self-employed. So when I was self-employed, I did a lot of freelance accessibility consulting, and I needed a lot of different applications then. I needed, just stuff to run my business and so on and so forth. But now I work for a company called Accessible 360, and I need a lot of different applications now that I didn't need back then and so on and so forth. And so I wanted a new beginning. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight, is we're going to be getting my Mac all ready and making sure that we've got a new beginning and some early spring cleaning, because it was kind of running slow and things weren't working, and that's kind of why I wanted to do it. So that kind of makes sense, everyone. That's kind of why I wanted to do this video and this stream, showing you guys how I get set up for my Mac. All right, enough blabbering. We really got a lot to do. So let me go ahead and share my screen, get the system preference set up, and that kind of thing. I'm going to share my sound as well. And of course, we got these, what I call permission purgatory. Basically, what that means is that when you first set up a Mac, you've got all these different permissions that you need to set, and it's kind of like permission purgatory. So we're going to go ahead and do our little permission purgatory and say, yes, I want to allow Zoom to do sharing screen and that kind of thing. All right, so now one thing I forgot to mention is I'm hoping it won't make me restart Zoom. If it will, well, we're going to have a little bit of an issue here. So I have to unlock. Okay. Folks, we may lose the live stream for just a second because I have to relaunch Zoom. So I did not think about this because I am really stubborn and I don't think about these things until they actually happen. So if I lose y'all, I'll be right back. But I need to restart Zoom so that way I can get my permission set up. Y'all, are you still here? Let's see. I don't think we lost anyone, which is incredible. So let me make sure that it's true. Anyone here? Did we lose anyone? Anyone here? All right, I think we're good to go, folks. That was a miracle. I thought that we were going to lose everyone and it's going to be a catastrophic disaster. Indeed, I was wrong for once. So, let's go ahead and share the screen. I'm going to share my sound, and I'm going to talk about all the system preferences that I go through to make sure that my Mac is set up. All right, so let me close this up. And let's see. I'm going to get rid of some system dialogues. I do VO Shift F2 F2 if with VoiceOver. I'm going to cancel this, and then I'm going to share my sound. I'm going to enter my password. All right.
Zoom share status bar window. System dialog.
And that was a fail.
You are
Okay, so apparently my AirPods have decided that it would be an awesome idea to disconnect and to make it so that y'all will hear the voiceover output from the speakers. Isn't that clever? So let's go ahead and fix that little bug real fast. Do not ever do that to me again, Zoom, or else you're going to be sorry. And, well, that's the end of that. So if y'all can hear my sound, you probably can, but that's great. But at the same time, we need to make sure that the sound is actually able to be heard and that it's going through my AirPods. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it is going through my AirPods, and if it's not, it's going to get fixed. So, let's see.
You are using enhanced encrypt. Move focus to next. Back. Join. Thursday. Back to meeting. You are currently on a tech. Close. You are image. Stop share button.
I have to stop sharing.
You are currently on a button.
For just a second. And I need to go adjust my audio. Now, why did Zoom decide to do that? That's beyond me. But let's try this again, y'all.
Started screen share. System dialog. Content is empty. Increase audio. Start video. Video submenu.
Right.
Audio submenu.
Now.
Zoom. Michael's AirPod Pro number 4. Menu item. Same as system. Select a microphone. MacBook Pro microphone. MacBook Pro microphone. Checked. Select a speaker. Same as system. Menu item. MacBook Pro speakers. MacBook Pro. Michael's AirPod Pro number 4. Checked. Menu. Separator line. Test speaker and switch to phone. Leave computer. Audio settings.
We are sharing.
Siri button. Increase system. Increase system. Chrome. Setting my M1. Start like this video log. Started bullet. One watching now.
Can you guys hear it?
Zoom.us. Zoom share toolbar window. System dialog. Start audio submenu. Secure. Open. New. Pause share. Annotate button. Group.
Is my sound being heard? I believe it is.
To click this button, press Control Option Space.
All right. Sound's being heard. Let's do our next order of business. Let's go in System Preferences and configure some stuff, shall we? Let's actually start off with our VoiceOver Utilities. So let me go to VoiceOver Utility.
Zoom.us. VoiceOver Utility.
And this is what VoiceOver sounds like, folks. So I'm just going to go through each of these panes and configure what I'd like to configure. So I'm going to start from this Generals tab here.
VoiceOver Utility. Utility categories. Table. Speak the following greeting after login. Welcome to macOS. VoiceOver is on. Contents selected.
That's fine.
Edit. Display welcome dialog when VoiceOver starts. Uncheck. Checkbox. Keys to use as the VoiceOver modifier. Control Option or Caps Lock. Keys to use as the VoiceOver modifier. Pop-up button.
That's fine.
You are currently Portable Preferences off. Image. Portable Preference Setup. Portable Preferences allow VoiceOver to be controlled with AppleScript. Uncheck. Checkbox.
I'm not going to check this, but you can check that if you'd like.
Help button.
The AppleScript. I'm going to go to the next category.
VoiceOver Utility. Verbosity.
Verbosity.
Out of utility categories.
Stop
Table.
interacting.
Speech. Selected. Tab.
Speech.
1 of 5. Braille. Tab. Text. Announcement. Hints. Tab. Default speech verbosity. High. Default speech verbosity. Pop.
Hi. I'm going to change this to...
Menu. Medium. Low.
Medium.
Closing menu. Medium. Additional speech verbosity options. Collapsed.
I'm
Disclosure
going to
triangle.
expand this additional speech verbosity.
Custom verbosity. Table. Verbosity default menu button. Control app. You are currently on a text field inside of a.
And I can control verbosity options. Now, actually, I do not want to be in here, but if you do, you would interact with this table and you could customize the different verbosity settings for each control and how it's spoken out by VoiceOver. I tend not to change this, but again, you have that full flexibility. I'm going to go to our next part of our verbosity and our speech settings. So let me go ahead and do that.
Out edit media default speech verbosity hint announce text tab braille tab speech select utilities braille tab.
Braille I'm not going to really care about because honestly I don't have a braille display I'm using regularly.
Text tab.
I'm going to go to text.
Selected. Hit punctuation some punctuation.
Punctuation I'm going to leave it at some. That's fine for now.
Repeated punctuation.
Repeated punctuation.
First 3 times.
First 3 times. That's okay. I may want to make an activity though that allows me to have it where it will have the different punctuation levels based on what I'm doing. So I could set that up later. But for now, I'm just going to leave this as okay.
While typing, speak.
While typing, speak.
Characters and words.
Characters and words, that's fine.
When moving the cursor. You are speak text, the cursor passes. When moving the cursor.
Speak text, the cursor passes.
When text attributes change. Do nothing. When text
I don't want to do anything because that could be a little bit laggy when the attributes change.
When encountering a misspelled word. You are speak attributes. When encountering a misspelled word. FYI button. Choose how to announce misspelled.
Oh, I got a chat message.
Zoom.
Let me go see what that is.
Chrome.
Just a second.
Heading 1 bullet. Started streaming 5 minutes ago. You
kind of read over me, so.
Say report one end of end of show let frames hide frame in chat. Welcome to link Sunic ver chat actions ver FYI. You are currently on text element in.
Okay, I think we do have a spammer. So, whoever is doing that, Jesse, can you please stop doing that because you are spamming the chat, and it is making my life a little bit difficult. So, sorry for the brief interruption, folks. We're having some chat spammers. Y'all, please do not chat spam because you will be called out and you will be disciplined accordingly. Got it? Because you're going to be having chat read out to the whole entire world on text-to-speech. So if you want your face and you want your chat being read out to the entire world via text-to-speech, then go for it. Go spam. But if you don't, then I would stop it. All right? All right, enough of Tay's rants. Let's get back to the setup.
Chat actions button. Say something. Ver Sunica Jesse. Ver FYI.
Yep.
You are currently
none
on
of
text
that.
element inside of a frame.
We're not having any of that today.
Voiceover utility. Finder. Zoom.us. App more app pause multiple share submenu. Chrome. Voiceover utility.
So let's continue.
When encountering a link / attachment, you are speak. When encountering a link.
Yep, I want to keep all this the same. I want to make sure that when links and attachments are there, that it will speak those. A lot of these verbosity settings I want to keep the same, but I want to show you guys exactly what I'm doing, what I am changing, so that's why I'm going through all this.
Read numbers as. You are words. Read numbers as when reading a capital letter. Change pitch. When reading when deleting text. Change pitch. When delete append phonetic pronunciation to single help button. Help.
Okay, so we got that one done.
Read when speak when
I'm gonna go to the next.
Attribute do nothing. When what hit speech announcements tab 4 of 5.
Announcements
Selected. Hints announce when mouse cursor enters a window. Unchecked. Check announce when a modifier key is pressed. Unchecked checkbox. Announce when the caps lock key is pressed. Checked checkbox.
I want to keep that announcement on for now.
Speak header when navigating across a table row. Checked checkbox.
Speak header, yep.
You automatically speak text in dialog boxes. Checked checkbox. Speak zoom magnification changes. Unchecked checkbox.
Nope.
Speak voiceover cursor magnification changes. Unchecked when status text changes under voiceover cursor. Play tone. When status text when progress indicator changes under voiceover. Play tone. When
Play
progress
tone.
indicator when number of rows change under voiceover do nothing. When number of when system dialogues are displayed. Play tone. When menu.
System dialogues are displayed, so that's why you hear the beep, beep, beep. I want to go ahead and disable that, so I'm going to go ahead and say do nothing. Because right now it's annoying, so every time there's a new system dialogue, it beeps in my face. It's very annoying, so I want to change that.
Do nothing.
Do nothing.
You are currently on a pop-up button. To display a do nothing.
There we
when
go.
System dialogues are displayed. Pop-up button.
I made
You
sure
are
that my
currently on a
system
pop-up button.
dialogues,
To
they will
display
do
a list
nothing.
of options. Press speak size and position in inches. Speak size and position
Inches,
in.
that's fine.
Speak text under mouse after 0.4 seconds. Speak text under short. Long. Help button. Help.
All right, so that tab's
short,
done.
0. Speak inches. Speak do when do not when no when
Okay.
speak autumn speak hint text tab announcements hints tab.
I'm gonna go to
5 of 5.
hints.
You are currently on a tab. 5 of 5. Announce when mouse cursor enters a window. Hints tab. Selected. When an item. Speak instructions for using the item in the voiceover cursor. Checked. Check. When an item has a help tag. You are. Speak instructions for. When. Speak help. When an item. Do nothing. Speak notification. Check mark. Speak help. When an item has custom actions. When an
So
item
what I'm
has a
gonna
help
do
tag.
is
Speak instructions for you. When an.
I'm
Speak
gonna
uncheck.
uncheck this speak hints because I am a pretty experienced voiceover user, I would say. So I don't really need the voiceover hints. But if you're a beginner, I'd highly recommend them because I'll tell you how to interact with different elements. But because I am somewhat a experienced voiceover user, I do not need these hints to get in my way. So I'm going to go ahead and disable them now. I am going to enable them though in custom scenarios. So where developers have specified different custom events, different custom hints, I will go ahead and enable those because that will be a lot easier than having it all where a lot of times I'll know how to interact with it. So does that kind of make sense? So because I am a more experienced voiceover user, I will do that. Now, it all depends on what your comfortability is.
When speak help. When an item has custom action. Speak help. When an item has more content. Speak help. Speak hints after delay. 0.5 second. Short. Long. Help button.
So I went and disabled those hints. So that at least frees up a lot of voiceover verbiage now because we don't hear all those hints all the time. We've also changed our system dialog preferences, which is good because we do not need those preferences popping up. Now,
speak hints. Speak when
what we're going to do
when an speak hint tech rail tab speech utility category voice utility speech verb navigation speech out voices selected tab 1 of 2.
I'm going to keep the voice the same, but I'm going to adjust the rate. So I'm going to keep the voice the same, but adjust the rate. So
pronunciation tab mute speech unchecked customize language English voice rate edit button in 40 50 content selected default pitch edit text 44.4% default rate step 45 content.
I'm going to change this rate to 70.
7 0.
Now that is how fast
70.
I like to listen to it because I listen to speech every single day, and so I'm adept to listening to voiceover speech, right? And so I've done this before, and so I'm able to listen to it that fast. Now if I'm doing like a demo, I want to listen to it at like 50, but we're going to set it up so that I can have an activity where I can enter a demo mode with voiceover so that it will automatically slow it down. But for now, I'm going to set it at 70 so that way you guys can hear how fast I listen to it.
Language list table.
Okay.
Increase system volume. Add language button. Remove selected languages.
So that's done.
Voiceover utility. Navigation.
Navigation.
Initial position of voiceover cursor. Keyboard focus item. Initial position of voiceover cursor.
Okay, keep that the same.
Grouping behavior. Standard. Grouping behavior. Pop-up button.
Standard. Leave that there.
Synchronize keyboard focus and voiceover cursor. Mouse pointer. Synchronize keyboard mouse ignores voiceover cursor. Mouse pointer. Allow cursor wrapping. Uncheck checkbox. Skip redundant labels. Uncheck checkbox. Automatically interact when using tab key. Check checkbox. Enable fast searching. Uncheck checkbox. Right command key. Enable help button. Help button.
All right.
Right. Enable allow mouse. Grouping behavior. Keyboard focus. Initial position. Voice toolbar. Voice utility in web.
Web.
Out of navigation. Select general tab 2 of 3. Navigation. Navigate web pages by. Downloader navigate web pages by. Selected radio button. Grouping items navigate web pages by. When navigating web tables. Group items within the navigating web tables. Uncheck checkbox. Speak. Navigate images. Always enable live regions. Check checkbox. Always help button. Help.
I'm gonna actually leave this
always navigate images.
the same. The web. I don't need to be in here.
Navigate web loader tab. General tab 2. Utility categories table. In utility sound. Visuals.
Sound. I don't need to be in here either. I'm gonna actually go to visuals.
Out of cursor. Selected. Panels and menus. Touch tab. Show voiceover cursor. Voiceover cursor. Show voiceover cursor. Check checkbox. Voiceover cursor magnification. 1. Voiceover cursor. Small. Large. When read sentence. Help button.
I want to show voiceover cursor. That's fine.
Show voice. Touch tab. Panels and menu. Cursor. Selected tab.
But
1 of 3.
panels and menus.
Touch. Show caption panel. Show braille panel. Show caption panel. Check checkbox. Uncheck. Show automatic. Show braille panel. Pop-up button. Font size for panels and menus. 20. Small. Large. Help button. Help. Large. Small. Font size for panels and menus. Font size for automatic. Show braille panel. Pop-up button. Menu. Off. Checkmark. Off.
And I want to turn all panels off. So voiceover panel, because basically it'll show everything visually, which is a good thing in concept. But really, we don't want that. So I'm going to change everything and make sure that it is not visible, not allowed to be seen, okay? So the visual panel, voiceover, that kind of thing. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, after I do that, let's see, so we have got Next tab
Font
here.
size 4 panels in menu off. Show touch tab 3 of 3. Panels in menus. Selected tab. Touch tab.
Touch.
Selected. 60%. Background transparent. 0. 100%. Help button.
It's fine.
0%.
Okay, so we've changed the visuals.
Cursor. Voiceover utility. Commanders.
Commanders.
Out of trackpad. Selected tab.
I'm gonna go to
4.
trackpad.
Numpad tab. Keyboard tab. Quick nav tab. Enable trackpad commander. Uncheck checkbox.
I'm gonna enable the trackpad commander, which will allow me to use gestures using the trackpad.
Disable on the trackpad.
Okay, so I enabled trackpad commander.
Automatically select items and lists and tables. Uncheck checkbox. Pause speech when not touching the trackpad. Scroll gesture moves content instead of scroll. Assign commands button. Help button.
Okay, I'm not gonna worry about most of this for now.
Enable trackpad commander. Quick nav tab. Keyboard tab. 3 of 4. Numpad tab. Keyboard tab. Selected. Quick and use. Enable keyboard commander. Use. Right option key. Use. Pop. Keyboard commander. Table. Command open application. Mail menu button. Keyboard key. S. Command open application. Safari menu button. Keyboard key. T.
And I'm not gonna enable all these other
Keyboard.
commanders.
Tab. Trackpad. Utility category. Voiceover. Utility in Braille. Activities.
Activity. So this is where I said we're gonna set up an activity so that when I'm in demo mode and I'm demoing something for y'all, it will actually slow it down. So activities basically allow you to set up different preferences depending on what you're doing. So, for example, if I have a coding activity, then it will make sure that it will do something different when I'm in applications that I can code in. Maybe it'll read out punctuation and that kind of thing. So I'm going to set up a coding activity. I'm also going to set up a demo activity. So let's see how this is done.
Set up activities to custom activities and set up activities to customize voiceover for specific uses. Click add activity button to create add activity button.
Activity.
Untitled. Content selected. Edit text.
I'm going to call this demo.
DEMO. Activities. Out. Choose settings to include verbosity. Uncheck checkbox. Check. Set verbosity. Web. Uncheck. Set verbosity button. In dialog. Rail tab. 2. Speech selected. Text announcements tab. Hit default speech medium. Default speech verbosity. Pop up button.
And
choose how much detail is spoken when describing an item.
That's fine. I can choose how much details but spoken in an item. I'm going to leave it at medium because when I'm doing demos, normally I'm not trying to show off what VoiceOver can do. So I'm going to leave this the same here.
Additional speech verbosity options. Custom verbosity table. Row 1 of 34. Control. App. Help button.
Okay, so
default hints tab. Announcements tab. 4 of 5. Text tab. 3 of 5. Announcements tab 4. Hit default speech medium. Default speech verbosity. Hit text tab. Announcement selected. Hit announce when modifier key is pressed. Uncheck. Announce when the caps lock key is. Speak header when navigating across. Automatically speak text. Speak zoom magnification changes. Speak voiceover cursor. When status text changes under voiceover. Play time. When progress indicator changes. Play when number of rows. Do nothing. When system dialogues. Do not. Speak size and position inches. Speak 0.4 seconds.
Okay, so I guess I don't need that.
When system do nothing. When number of play when status speak speak header when announce hit text
Okay.
tab. Speak verbosity settings for the demo activity. Verbosity settings for the demo activity. Web. Uncheck checkbox. Set. Verbosity button. Verbosity. Checkbox. Web. Set. Hotspots. Additional settings. Use this activity for. Additional settings to include collapse disclosure triangle. Expanded. Pronunciation. Uncheck. Set. Pronunciation. Navigation. Uncheck. Set. Voices. Uncheck. Set. Voice. Sound. Uncheck. Set. Visuals. Uncheck. Set. Voices. Dim button. Sound. Uncheck checkbox. Set. Voices. Uncheck checkbox. Set. Voices. Uncheck checkbox.
I'm going to set voices.
Set. Voices button. In dialog. Mute speech. Uncheck checkbox.
Okay,
Voices
so
settings
I
for
don't
the
want to
demo
mute
activity.
speech. And I want to set it Alex so that it will be 50%.
Customize language list table. English. Default. English. Voice. Alex compact voice. Pop. Rate. 70 rate. 6. Edit button. In dial. Default. Alex compact. Default. Set. 69.50. Content. 69.50. Content selected. Default. 69.70. Content selected. Default. Selection deleted. 6. 5. 0. Rate. Customize language list table. Voices settings for the demo activity.
So I set the rate to 50, and that should be okay for now. So this is for demos, again. And then I can select when I want to use this activity. So I don't really want to use it until I activate it. So I'm going to make sure that I can select that.
Add language button. Remove selected language. Help button. Done. Default button. Set. Sound. Uncheck. Set. Sound. Visual. Set. Braille. Set. Track. Set. Numpad. Set. Keyboard. Set. Quick. Set. Use this. Absent. Use this activity for absent websites. Menu button. Add activity button. Use this activity for text. Absent websites. Menu button. Menu. Finder. Google Chrome. Zoom.u. Websites. Other app. Deselect all. Other app. Ellipsis. Column view browser. Column view browser. 1password 7 group.
Okay, so
Use this activity for absent website. Use this activity for set. Quick nav. Dim. Use absent website. Use this activity for text. Add activity button. Remove activity button. Add activity button. Untitled. Content selected. Edit. Activities. Demo. Untitled. Demo. Out of verbosity. Set. Verbosity. Choose settings to include in this activities table. Set up activities to activities. Untitled. Demo. Untitled. In dialog. Alert. Cancel button. Delete.
I'm just going to delete this other one I accidentally created.
Activities. Demo. Choose settings to include in this activity. Verbosity. Check. Set. Web. Set. Web. Hot. Set. Nav. Set. Voice. Set. Sound. Trackpad. Keyboard. Quick nav. Absent website. Use and remove activity button. Add activity button. Remove. Configure activity. Help button. Configure
Okay.
menu. Duplicate. Reset activities. Reset activities. Voice. Duplicate activity. Reset activities. My current voiceover settings.
So
Configure activity button. Remove activity button. Add activity button. Use this activity for text.
So I just configured VoiceOver for the demo activity, and that is going to be good for now. I will do the coding one in a little bit, but right now I need to set this up for work specifically because we're running out of time, And I want to get to bed at a somewhat reasonable time tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the rest of the voiceover utilities, and we're going to set us up. Any chatters in the chat, if I do have any, feel free to say hi. And if I don't, we're just going to continue on because, again, we don't have a lot of time tonight, but I just needed to get this reset done. All right.
Apps use this activity. Set. Quick nav. Set. Keyboard. Set. Numpad. Set. Track. Set. Red. Set. Video. Set. Voice. Set. Nav. Set. Hot. Set. Web. Set. Verbose. Choose. Set. Set up activities to customize utility category. Voiceover utility. Voiceover recognition. Voiceover recognition.
Voiceover recognition. I'm not going to customize anything else. I've changed all the voiceover settings that I would like to do. I'm going to go ahead and transition to another part of this setup. We've customized our voiceover. That's fine. The next thing we need to do is we need to add some apps to our Mac. And for this, I like to use this alternative to Tonight. I got to look at the exact name. How it works is you select the apps you'd like to install through the terminal, and it will give you a big shell script where you can install them. It's almost like Ninite for Mac, where Windows, you select the app and it gives you a big installer. Same kind of thing. So let me go find the name of this real quick and I can tell y'all. But I like to use this alternative, and that way I can get a lot of my basics down. So I use this to get a lot of my basics, and then I individually install apps after that. And usually what happens is I install apps as I need them, right? Usually that's kind of how it goes. So what I'm going to do tonight is get you to see how a basic setup goes in terms of when I'm at work, in terms of what I need, right? Because right now, my main priority is setting up for work. So for work, I'm an accessibility tester. And really what I need is I need a Windows of some sort. Now, we did try UTM, and we're going to try it again today. So we need UTM, which is a QEMU virtualization program, a GUI for Mac. And it's a really cool thing. There's two versions, a free and a paid. The paid where you can get the Mac App Store. And basically it allows you to run Windows 11 on ARM on your Mac OS M1. You also have Parallels, which is not very accessible. And you also have Windows 365, which is really only available for businesses. So I really need Windows tonight. And I also need some other apps such as Slack. And I need to log into my work email account. Finally, I also probably need Google Drive. And then that really is the basic bare bones setup for a day at work, right? Because we usually use Google Meet, which I already have because I have my browser. And obviously once I log into my mail, I'll have my calendar so that it will sync my events. And so that's kind of how that works, right? So really the things that we're going to do today is we're going to get the rest of our basic apps, and we're going to set up Windows, and we're going to call it a wrap. All right? Sound good, y'all? Okay. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my sound for this part. I don't think it's going to make a lot of sense for me to share my sound. And do we have any people in the chat?
Chrome. Setting my M1. Zoom.us. Zoom share.
If we do, I want to hear it. Okay. So, if you like this video, feel free to like it on the channel. It really helps, and if you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe. We are always producing content, and it's pretty great. So if you want to be part of the Techopolis crew, feel free to subscribe. We're always doing content relating to gaming, as well as tech content and different things like that. So if you like this stuff, feel free to subscribe. Okay. So if anyone's here in chat, say hi. If not, we're going to go ahead and move on. All right, I'm going to reshare my screen, and what we're going to do is I'm going to Google for this site because I always forget the name of it, and that will be helpful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, share my screen. And I'm going to look for the app that I'm going to talk about here. So, whoops. Ninite. Let me see what this is called. MacApps.link. MacApps.link. Got it, y'all? So this is where I can select different apps that I want to get from my Mac, and then it will literally install them with one shell script terminal command, okay? MacApps.link. So here we go. Let's select the apps that we want from our MacApps.link. Okay. I don't need Brave. I don't need Evernote. I don't want Google Drive, this version, because this is a desktop version. So recall that there's a Google Drive file and sync, or as we called it, file and sync, because it will take up hard drive space. And then there's Google Drive Desktop. So we want Google Drive Desktop. So we're going to manually install that later. Now we have Fantastical. That's one of our favorite calendar apps. So I went ahead and selected that from our list of apps available for us. So far we have one app. We have Fantastical. We're going to go through the list of apps that we have available remaining, and we're going to keep installing stuff. So developer. So GitHub. Let's install that too. Interesting. Okay, Pycharm. Visual Studio Code, my favorite text editor of all times in terms of code. So I went ahead and selected VS Code here. Tools. One password, I would have selected that here, but I already had to install it, so that way I could finish this stream and get everything set up. But one password, again, is one of our favorite password managers of all times. Transmit, one of my favorite FTP clients for Mac, so I went ahead and selected Transmit from this list as well. It's the best FTP client, in my opinion, for the Mac. So go ahead and select that if you're trying to install different apps. I love Transmit. Utilities. Now, some of these apps I will not install yet because I will do something called Set App, which is a subscription service for your Mac where you can get different Mac apps. It's almost like Netflix for apps. So you pay 10 or 20 bucks a month depending on if you want your family plan or your individual plan, and you can get a whole bunch of different apps. They've got like a ton. So I'm not going to install some of these like Jump Desktop, iStat Menus, Bartender, because they're all available in Set App, and I'm just going to actually install them when I install Set App later on. So hopefully that kind of makes a little bit of sense. I'm not going to install some of those other ones in the utilities category. Multimedia. Let's see, anything I need here? Microsoft. I definitely need Slack. I was just talking about how I use Slack for work. So I definitely need to install Slack. So let's go ahead and get that done here. Slack, I just selected it. WhatsApp, I'm going to install it. I don't really think it's accessible on the Mac, but so be it. Let's just see anyways. So I just installed that. Discord, I definitely need that, so I'm going to install that. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is I need to get my app set. So we go up here, and I need to get my apps. Basically, I need to get my big shell script that I need to install. Just give me a second here. I have 6 apps that I want to install. So I'm going to install 6 different apps here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this little handy-dandy command that they gave me. It's pretty long. But I'm going to copy this, and you'll have this depending on what apps you want to install. So macapps.link. Go ahead and check that out if you want to install apps for your Mac very quickly. And I'm going to open up a terminal window and paste this little command in here. And voila, I'm going to get a whole bunch of apps installed on my Mac that I didn't have to go manually get. So here's what we're going to do. All right. Copy, and I'm going to go terminal, paste. All right. Well, we got that. Our next order of business is we need to download our Windows Insider Preview for ARM. So currently, right now, we do not have Windows, and that is a problem, being that a lot of my job requires Windows. So if we're going to be able to work tomorrow, I need some kind of Windows install. So we're going to go ahead and download the Windows 11 Insider Preview for ARM. And unfortunately, you have to have a Windows Insider Program account in order to do this, so you just enroll in the Insider Program. But before we do any of that stuff, we need to download an app called UTM. So I had a video about this before, and it's gotten like 305 or 6 views already, which is crazy. But I'm going to be going through the whole process right here in this stream. So I'm going to download UTM. I am going to download the free version from their website. You can buy it from the Mac App Store, but just for this purpose, I'm just going to use the free version because that's what I've always used. So I'm just going to type in UTM download into Google. And I'm going to show you guys why I'm doing this way rather than going through the Microsoft site first. So it's going to be pretty great. So download this. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Allow. So we're downloading UTM right now, and UTM will take a second to download. Meanwhile, we've got our other Mac apps installing, which is great. So our Mac apps are installing, UTM is downloading. We're in pretty good shape. What I'm going to do now is UTM seems to be done, and I'm going to start the process of creating a new VM. But I'm going to need to download an image, but the cool thing is that UTM will actually give me the exact link I need to get my image for Windows 11 ARM Insider Preview. So it will say, hey, go download it from this link. And that's why I'm doing it this way rather than going to get the link first. It saves me a bunch of time. If you're in the chat or you're watching later, say hi. Tell me what you think about this video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And I want to hear what you guys think. How do you like me setting up this Mac? Do you like it? You think it's great? Or do you think that you would rather done without? Tell me your feedback. Tell me your comments. And that'll be awesome. All right, utm.dmg. I'm going to run UTM installer. And okay. I'm going to open. We'll create a new VM. Virtualize. Virtualize basically means that you can only run the native CPU architecture. Hey, Payon! Welcome to the stream. We're doing a big Mac setup today. I just did a reformat. So, Payon, if y'all haven't checked out his series, you guys need to do that. We've got Demasi and Michael just talking tech, the DM series. Payon, if you want to throw a link into that in chat, that'd be awesome. Y'all need to check him out. He's one of our partners, and we do a lot of stuff together. So, if y'all haven't seen the DM series, I don't know what y'all are missing out on. So, go check out the DM series. His latest episode's got a lot of greatness in it, and y'all don't want to miss it. Well, welcome, Payon. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to download this UTM link. And I'm going to attempt to do this now. I'm not saying this is going to work because, frankly, I haven't had the best of luck. But because I'm reformatting my Mac, it's worth a try. And I need Windows anyways for work tomorrow. So, I'm going to do Windows. And download Windows 11 ARM64. So ARM64. I got to this little link. Payon, you asked about a VS Code video, your comment. I don't know if I got that. When did you put that in there? I don't remember seeing it. Now, yes, I did not add anything to the description yet. We had some issues, and so I'm going to be working on that. And we also have the challenge, the Python GUI challenge video thing that's coming out this Sunday on Techopolis, basically where Michael and I are using two different Python graphical user interface frameworks, and we're making apps and seeing which one's accessible. And the results are going to shock y'all. Anyways, let me download this. Alright, let me sign in. You have to be an insider to access this page. Okay, so I'm going to Touch ID to fill with my password. And Microsoft, can you be nice to me and not allow me to have to verify by signing a text? That'd be great. Sign in. Oh, settings sync. Yeah, Payon, that is a problem. Y'all, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'm going to be doing an updated series on Techopolis anyways about VS Code, and I'm planning to do a VS Code masterclass one of these weekends. But yes, the VS Code settings sync extension that we used in the previous videos is kind of a nightmare. So, Payon, yeah, I'm going to have to try to figure that out, but it's also built into VS Code now. So, be on the lookout, y'all. We're going to do an ultimate VS Code class, and also we're going to have a class on TA courses as well. So, just keep that in mind. Go check out TA courses if you haven't. We've got a WordPress course up there, and it's awesome. So, tacourses.net is going to be the place. All right. I don't want this to keep me signed in forever. I've downloaded, let's see here. Alright, so Windows client ARM64. I'm going to hit download. Good question, Payon. Yes, I am going to do a Python and VS Code setup. In fact, that's what the course is going to be about. And I'm going to have a course on Python as well as a course on VS Code. So, yes, Payon, be on the lookout. Be watching the Techopolis channel because that is where all this content is going to be. Great question. Great question, Payon. But yes, that is coming in the works and it's going to be epic. Allow. Okay. Our VS Code. Well, our VS Code is done installing, as well as our insider preview for our VM is installing right now. So what I want to do is I want to go put our attention back on the terminal, and I want to see where we're at. So how many of our apps are done installing? Let's go check it out. Okay. Looks like all of our apps have finished downloading. Sweet. So now we've got our basics. We've got our Slack. We've got our Discord. We're not signed into any of these things, but at least we have them on our computer. So that's a good start. So we are doing okay on the app front so far. And what I'm going to wait and do now is I'm going to set up Windows. So obviously, again, our Mac is fully obviously not set up yet. But remember, our most important goal is we're setting this up for work, because at work, I definitely need Windows, and that is definitely my most important priority. Now, there are times at my work where I do need Mac because I'm doing mobile audits. And so a lot of times I will use the screen mirroring feature on my Mac, or excuse me, on my iPhone, to mirror my screen from my iPhone to my Mac and then share it in Google Meet, because we use a lot of Google Meets at Accessible 360. So there's a lot of different things that I like to do for work. It all depends on what kind of environment you guys are in. I am in a Google environment at work, but if you guys are Microsoft, you might use Teams and so on and so forth. So it's all about setting up your computer the way that you want it. Now, again, it all depends on how your company's structured, because some companies may give you work laptops or some may not. It just all depends. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. All right, let's see what we're going to do about our UTM here, because really, that's what we're going to need. We're also going to need Xcode. Now, I don't want to install that right now, but I will probably put up another video about how to do so, because honestly, it is getting late here, and I want to go to bed, because I've had a very crazy day at work, but we can't go to bed yet because we need a Windows virtual machine. And so really, that is what we're going to do. We're going to get a Windows virtual machine going. Okay. How far is our insider build done? Let's see. Let's see where we're at here. 42%. Okay. We're not doing too great, but we're not doing too horrible. So what we're going to do now is we're waiting for our UTM, our VM, to get installed. What I want to do quickly is I want to show you guys a couple of different other apps that I'm going to probably get. So I obviously am going to need Final Cut for editing videos, and I'm obviously going to need other apps such as Creative Best Friend for chapters and that kind of thing. But something else I'm going to need is Google Drive. So let's go ahead and get Google Drive while we're at it, because we've got a little bit of time. So I'm going to go open up a new tab here. Actually, I don't need to open a tab. I'm just going to do Google Drive, desktop, download. Google Drive is awesome, y'all. It's the bomb. Okay. Whoops. Apparently Zoom has decided that it's trying to take over the world. Download Google Drive for desktop. Download has started. Alright. So Google Drive for desktop is downloading. Our insider build is downloading. So we just have to wait a second in order for everything to stop downloading, and that way we can install things. So Google Drive is something I also need at work because we need to share files back and forth. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll share files back and forth between my coworkers and myself, or even my notes that I share to the team every single day is Google Drive. So Google Drive is very essential, and it's great. So if y'all aren't using Google Drive, I don't know what y'all are missing, and you guys should go check it out. Payon has got a lot of cool resources on Google Drive. Go check out yourownpay.com. He's got a lot of cool things on there. And yeah, you don't want to miss it, folks. All right. Let's see where our progress is sitting here, because I'm impatient. 83%. 72%. So 82 or 83 and 72 on our Windows Insider as well as our Google Drive. So right now we're kind of just waiting. We're waiting for things to work. All right. We're waiting for things to authenticate. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, let's see, set up our Google Drive. Google Drive's done. So let's set up the Google Drive real quick. Set up Google Drive. Okay. Install. All right, and we're waiting for Google Drive to install, and obviously then we have to log in. Fierce Abueda, again, sorry if I mispronounced your name, asks which programming language you use for Xcode. I'm just curious. Fierce, I use the Swift programming language from Apple. You can use other programming languages with Xcode, but honestly, I use it only for my iOS development. So if you want to make iOS apps, macOS, tvOS, watchOS, that's really what I use my Xcode for. I use VS Code for pretty much everything else. VS Code is my absolute best friend. So hopefully that kind of helps with that a little bit. All right. Our VS Code, I keep saying VS Code. Our Google Drive is done installing, and now we have to log in. So let's sign in real quick. So let's sign into our Google Drive. All right. Yep, I downloaded this app from Google. All right, authentication status. Success. All right. All right, Google Drive would like to access files. Okay. I'm going to close that up. Close. Move to trash. Close Finder. Close this. I'm going to go make sure I don't have any more system dialogues. Whoops. I hit the wrong button here. All right. Now, it happens to be very convenient that UTM installer for the Insider is also done. So now it's VM time. So we're going to go ahead and attempt to make a VM. So, here we go, folks. All right, so first I'm going to browse for a Windows 11 VM. So, an ARM thing, and it will come in a VHDX, which is a Hyper-V format. Now, I've seen online that a lot of people like to convert their VHDX to QCOW2, or whatever that format is. It's a QEMU format drive, and it basically helps to make it better. I haven't really seen any benefit to that, and I haven't really had any need. But if you are having problems with your Windows install, might be something to try. All right, so let's browse for a file. And let's see. Evelyn, yes, I will give a demo of Xcode. Yes, I will. I will give a demo of Xcode, and I'll even probably have my boyfriend. He is a Swift iOS developer. He's awesome. He'll probably also be on the channel, Michael Dowies. You've probably seen him in some videos. He is pretty much the Xcode expert around the household. Now, y'all think I'm good at Xcode? Well, then y'all need to go check out what he's done, because he's made a whole bunch of different apps, Pocket Braille, iAccessibility, you name it. You know, even popular apps that you guys have downloaded, maybe Blind Bargains. He has done it all. So if y'all want to go see him, check him out. He's done a lot. Mike Dowies on Twitter. But either way, we will be doing an Xcode demo. Yep. All right. So let's sidebar. Let's go downloads. Windows 11. Next. Now, another rule is you want to have half of your resources allocated for your VM. So let's say your VM, or your host, has 8 gigs of RAM. Then you want 4 on your VM. Let's say you've got 4 CPU cores and 2 on your VM. And the cool thing about UTM is that we'll auto-allocate CPU cores and your resources equally. So you don't have to worry about this. But a great rule of thumb is you want to have half of your resources on each side of the equation. It's kind of like you're balancing the equation. You want your Mac to be happy, and you want your VM to be happy. If you have too much on one side, then one side will start to complain. So you want to make sure that your two sides are equal. You want to make sure your VM is equal and your Mac is equal. All right, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Make sure your RAM is equal, 4 and 4. If you have 8, 8 and 8. If you have 16, so on and so forth, okay? So it's half of your total resources need to be devoted to both. Next. Now this is for sharing, so let me go here. I'm going to browse for a shared directory. So this is a directory that will share between your Mac and your Windows system. Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to set my Google Drive to be shared between my Mac and Windows. That way I can have my Google Drive without having to try to deal with that on Windows as well. It'll just be shared between the Mac and the Windows itself. So I'm going to select that Google Drive folder here, and that way it'll be shared between my Mac and Windows folders. All right. I'm going to select this. Okay. Oops. Windows, I'm going to rename this to Work. QEMU. That's fine. Fine. Okay. Now, something I may have to do is, by default, it will probably try to assign this as a USB drive, and I have to put it as an NVMe. That is the only way I found this to make sure it will boot. Also, in order for this to boot and have Wi-Fi, you're going to need something called the Spice Guest Tools. So let's go ahead and enable those as well. So I'm going to go download the Spice Guest Tools before I go ahead and boot up. So let's go download that as well. And that helps with internet, copy, paste, all that kind of fun stuff. Okay. Oops. All right. Okay, so hold on. Let me go look for this a minute. Okay. So let me go and enable this. Let's see. Let me enable this Windows. I gotta go to Edit. And that's how I edit the VM. Drives. Perfect. It's already set to NVMe. All right. I'm going to run this VM, and then that way you guys can see what it looks like. All right. So I'm going to run the VM. It's going to be Windows 11 ARM. And again, we're not going to have any Wi-Fi at the moment. That's because we got to install the Spice Guest Tools. And the way we do that is we mount it as an ISO. So we mount it in the CD or DVD drive spot. Now, something you can do if you're a VoiceOver user is you can do that VO command or VO Shift L command, and you can hear the live image descriptions of the UTM window. So if you're not sure what's happening, then you can go ahead and see what's happening. Of course, except it's not responding. And of course, it says it has no image description. So whenever you want to try to demo it, it doesn't work. So let's try this again. Getting ready. So it just literally read to me getting ready. Okay, what time is it? 10:15. Okay, we're doing pretty okay. Alright, so apparently my watch wanted to have something to say. So we're doing okay. So it's 10:15 Central. We're not doing bad. Again, my Windows install doesn't need to be terribly set up. It just needs to have the basics. It needs to have, Chrome. It needs to have that kind of thing. So just the basics. I don't need Slack because I'm going to have Slack on my Mac. All I need is literally just the bare bones setup. So let's go ahead and run our image description command. Doo-doo. There we go. Here's our Windows 11 sound. Now I'm going to do narrator. We've got Narrator, folks. All right. United States. Thank you, Payon. I don't want to add a second keyboard layout. Just a moment. So I'm doing Windows setup right now. I've enabled Narrator, and I'm just going through the prompts. Now, I don't have internet because I don't have internet at the moment because I did not install Spice Guest Tools. We're going to go ahead and do that in a second. I just want to make sure that we're all set up before we install Spice Guest Tools. So I'm just going to say I don't have internet. I'm just going to say I don't want to connect now. Continue with limited setup. Please review the license agreement. I'm just going to hit allow or accept, whatever that thing's called. Who's going to use this device? So I'm just going to type in my name. So Taylor. Actually, no, I'm going to type in Tay. It's just shorter. Tay. Next. Password. Choose privacy settings. So I'm just going to... Honestly, I want Microsoft, choose all this stuff, so you can go through all this, but not me. I'm just going to go through this and just enter. Again, I want Microsoft to have as much as they can, so that way they can make it better. Getting my PC ready. This will take a few minutes, all right? So we're going to wait for the PC to get ready, and we're kind of going through a little colored screen right now. It's going through these different colors where it's animating different things, and it's... Google Drive wants to send us notifications. So we're going to allow that. Google Chrome, allow. 1Password 7, allow. Okay. So, virtual machine, don't turn off your PC. Alright, now I'm going to try to find these Spice Guest tools that I need to install. So, because I want to make sure that we're set up and that we have Wi-Fi, I need my Spice Guest tools. So in order to do that, I'm going to... Okay. Okay. Alright, so... Spice Guest Tools. Here's my installer. Allow. Alright, Spice Guest Tools is installing itself. My VM apparently is set up because I heard the start sound. So is my Spice Guest Tools. So what I'm going to go ahead and do just for safety is I'm going to restart my VM and mount the CD drive. Alright, so I just quit UTM. I'm going to launch it again. Whoops. And let me find my UTM. Again, sorry if I'm going really fast. It's just kind of late here, and I am kind of tired. But I wanted to do this for y'all. Alright. So, we're going to edit we're going to go to, let's see, it's information. And excuse me, we're going to go to, actually, wait, hold on, what are we going to do? We're going to go to scroll area, CD, DVD, browse for CD, DVD drive. We're going to go to SpiceGust Tools that we just downloaded. Mount it. It's already mounted. Share directory. Apparently I did not get that last time, so let's go ahead and make sure that that works. So that way our shared directory is our Google Drive, like I just specified a few minutes ago. Again, I'm not going to say this again. I'm not sure what that chat was supposed to be. But if y'all have an intention of spamming my channel, then y'all better realize that your chat is being read to the whole entire world via text-to-speech. So if y'all want to hear, or if y'all want yourself to hear how the chat works, if you want to play with my screen reader, then go ahead and do that. But I would advise you not to, because it will be read aloud to the whole entire group. So just keep that in mind, folks. Do not spam the chat, or else that will be the end of that. All right? We're not standing for that here. Anyways, enough of that rant. We're not going to have that here in Techopolis. So if y'all want to spam, go for it. But just know that it will be read to the entire crowd. All right. So let's see. What were we doing now? We were going to set our shared directory. So our Google Drive. I'm going to go open. And our Google Drive is now selected as our shared directory. So we've done two things. We've added our SpiceGust tools, and our Google Drive is our shared directory now. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run our UTM VM. So we should have our SpiceGust tools able to be installed when we launch the VM. And once that happens, we're going to go through a standard Windows installation procedure that will allow us to install the SpiceGust tools. I'm going to run it. We're going to run our VM here. And once I run my VM, then I'm going to install our SpiceGust tools. Folks, thanks for watching. If y'all enjoy this, feel free to like it, share, subscribe, say hi to your friends. Share it if you guys think it'll be helpful for them. But honestly, the goal is to kind of share how I set up things, how I set up my VM and how I set up different things. So I'm going to turn on Narrator. That is Control, Command, Enter, I believe that was. Okay, I'm going to go to D:. Reason D being is that is a CD drive. That is our D drive. So now I'm going to do SpiceGust tools. I'm going to do a UAC, User Account Control Dialog. Yes, I want to Alt-N. I agree. Alt-N. Actually, excuse me, not Alt-N. We're installing SpiceGust tools. And another note to note here is that it will make you reboot once you're done. So, FYI, it will make you reboot once you're done installing SpiceGust tools. Finish. Interesting. Alright, so apparently, I was wrong, folks. It is not making me install the, it's not making me reboot. So let's make sure that we do have some internet of some sort. So I'm going to go to my system tray. Boom, we've got internet. Now, the problem I had last time was that I couldn't copy and paste things between my host and my guest. So let's make sure that I can copy and paste. So I'm just going to grab something from my Mac here, and I'm just going to make sure I can copy and paste it. So let me just find something. Okay, so Alright, so I'm not able to copy and paste. Okay. So I cannot seem to copy and paste between my guest and the host, which is kind of a problem. But I have a fully functioning VM that works. And that is really great because I can copy and paste things in a text file and then have that be open. And that's kind of the alternative I came up with until I could get it to copy and paste, because right now it is not sharing the clipboard. So let's just make sure that the clipboard is being shared. So I'm going to go ahead and power down the VM just to make sure that Spice Guest Tools has been applied. Wow. And we do have internet. So we do have a basic VM now running Narrator. But I just need to make sure that we can get our shared clipboard together. Okay, so let's shut down the VM. Okay, so I guess I have to... Okay. Open UTM. I'm going to run my work VM. Run. Alright, and let's see here. So I'm running my UTM VM. I'm hoping that I can get this to paste. If I can't, like I said, we have our workaround. But that is something to note, is that, you know, there can be downsides, but there's downsides to everything, folks. And in terms of getting an NVDA key, now this is something that's a little bit tricky. In the past, I've used Carabiner Elements. Now, I don't really like it. It's like an open source program that helps modify your NVDA key and your other keys' behaviors. And I don't really like this whole Carabiner nonsensical stuff. So really what I've done before is I've used Microsoft Power Toys, and that seems to work, but I'm not sure if that'll work well interacting with a Mac keyboard. So that's something experimenting I'm going to have to do tomorrow, probably. But I just want to see how this is going to work. So let me go ahead and get Narrator going again. And I'm going to go to my, documents. I'm going to go back. Network location. And I do have my drive. And I do have some crackly audio apparently. But what I'm able to do is I'm able to get everything that I need to in my UTM in my Google Drive. Okay? So right now I'm able to get everything that I need in my Google Drive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what's called a Ninite. Now, Ninite is like the Mac apps.link, except it's the Windows version. So I'm going to create a basic Ninite real quick, and I'll show you guys how to do that on Mac. And then I'll install it on Windows. I'll paste it in the Google Drive, and that's how we're going to work that. So let's go ahead and do that together. The cool thing is that I had VoiceOver on the whole time, which is nice. So, alright, so VoiceOver's on. Alright. So, let's go ahead and install some apps, shall we? Chrome. I don't need Zoom on the Windows side. Or Discord. iTunes, nope. Nope, don't need that. Don't need Audacity. Don't need Spotify. Really, I don't need a lot in here. I just need VS Code. Oh yeah, and the most obvious thing, NVDA, right? I almost forgot why I was doing this in the first place. NVDA is what we need too. FileZilla, I don't need that on here either. Visual Studio Code, that's fine. Get my Nanite. Alright, so now my Nanite's downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and copy this to my Mac, or excuse me, my Windows side, and then we will be good to go. We're going to go ahead and get that together. Apparently my voiceover has decided that it'd be a great idea to try to act up on me. Not a good idea. Okay. So, Nanite installer, We're going to copy this over. If we can. If we can't, we will put it in Google Drive. Alright, I guess it's Google Drive time. No problem. No problem. Alright. It's a Google Drive time. So we just pasted this in here. Refresh. And Nanite. Let's run the Nanite. UAC Alt Y.
I didn't get that.
Of course, Siri has her opinion on everything that we've done so far tonight. NVDA is installing. Shut up, Siri. NVDA is installing itself. And we're going to go ahead and have that happen. NVDA is installing and about done. And we're just going to let the rest of this install. And after this, folks, I think that is going to be a wrap for today. Now, obviously, there's a lot I have to do, but this at least gets me through the essentials of work. So this will at least get me through a day of work tomorrow. And then maybe I'm going to come out with some more videos throughout the night. So I'm going to close Narrator now. But now we have NVDA. I'm going to go ahead and put this in full screen. So the way I do that is I go on the top of the screen here and in UTM and I put it in full screen. Full screen will allow it to be full screen. And that is great because if I'm working with sighted people, they can see the screen full size rather than just a minimized view. So I'm going to put it in full screen just so that we can make sure that that is that way we can make sure that everyone can see it fully, especially if I'm doing stuff for work tomorrow. That'll be very helpful to make sure I can put it in full screen. But really, honestly, this is the truthfully and utterly, what you need to get started for a day of work. So hopefully this helps you guys understand kind of how I'm going to get started. But honestly, I think that's going to be a wrap for today because I think I have the basics down. But if y'all have any other ideas, I know we want to do a VS Code video. But if y'all have any other ideas or thoughts, feel free to say hi and put them in the chat if you're here live, or put them in the comments if you're watching later. But y'all have really enjoyed this video. But I think it's time for me to go to bed because I'm tired. So, let's see. I'm doing NVDA 3 of 4. And again, I will talk about how I do an NVDA key once I can figure out a better way to do it. So I'll actually put up a whole nother tutorial on how to set up a Mac and how to make that effective. So be on the lookout for that tutorial later on. Now I've got Google, whoops. Okay, so me. Oh, okay. Alrighty then. Active Directory service is currently unavailable. I don't really care at the moment. Let me make sure that I have headings here. Because I've had it before where I can't navigate by headings. So let me just make sure that my headings are able to be navigated. Hi, testing. Okay. So, let's see. Uh-oh. Okay, so let me... Alright, so I'm not getting a lot of headings, which is a pain. I gotta restart NVDA. I'm having some little NVDA bugs here and there. But I'm still trying to get everything figured out, y'all. But at least this kind of gives me a good starting off point to launch off from tomorrow. So... Whoa, I have an NVDA key? Wait, hold on. Oh, whoa. Hold on a second. Okay, y'all. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. We got a lot done, and I think that's going to be good. We're going to do more videos, but if y'all liked it, feel free to say hi, subscribe, chat, do all the things, and we're going to have more coming up. But, y'all, this has been a great stream, and I can't wait to talk to y'all later. Have a great night, everyone.